Hello friends and welcome back to the another amazing live stream video. So guys, tonight I want to talk to you not just as a commentator but as someone who has watched American foreign policy for years. And rarely I have something quite like this. A leaked transcript, a single phone call and suddenly you feel like the curtain has been pulled back on how power really moves in Washington and Moscow. This new Witkoff tapes, a full transcript of the phone call between Steve Witkoff, Trump's billionaire friend and special envoy, and Putin's senior advisor Yuri Ushakov, aren't just interesting. They are revealing, they are disturbing, they are a snapshot of a White House that no longer negotiates based on America's long-term interest, but on one man's emotional temperature. And that's the part that struck me the most. Not the flattery, not the strategic language, not even the quiet alignment with Russian demands. Is the fact that US diplomacy seems reduced to a simple formula. Please Trump's mood and everything else will follow. That's not a foreign policy, that's ego management. When you read the transcript, you notice a tone almost worshipful. Witkoff is telling the Russians openly how to get Trump into the right emotional zone after asking for anything. Praise him, celebrate him, tell him he is a man of peace, almost like feeding lions to a king who needs constant reassurance. That shouldn't be how the world's strongest superpower conducts the diplomacy. But here is where it gets even more unsettling. This wasn't some random chat. This conversation happens shortly after the negotiations in Gaza. The US had helped just broker a ceasefire, and instead of using that moment to push hard on Ukraine's interest, Witkoff tells Russia how they can turn in the state situation into a Trump plan, something that flatters the president more than it protects the US strategic interest. And almost immediately afterward, the US and Russia produce a so called 28-point peace plan that, let's be honest, reads exactly like a Russian wish list. Ukraine's core needs not present, their red lines ignored. It's like someone photocopied a Kremlin's dream scenario and slapped Trump peace plan on top of that. Now, normally we wouldn't even know this has happened. These calls are supposed to be secret. They are supposed to be handled by the seasoned diplomats, career foreign service officers, the kind of people who understand what's at stake. But someone leaked it. Someone inside the US government or a friendly intelligence service felt the need to expose what was going on. That alone tells you everything. Someone with access decided this can't stay behind the closed doors. People need to see how the decisions are being made. That's a rare moment. That means someone was alarmed not by Russia but by the Ukraine, but by us. By the way, we are conducting over business. And honestly, I get it. We are witnessing diplomacy driven less by strategy and more by the personal loyalty, less by national interest and more by personal ego. Witkoff wasn't focused on America's negotiating position. He wasn't pushing for security guarantees for Europe or Ukraine. He wasn't protecting American influence. He was making sure Trump felt praised. And that's the part that scares me on a deeper level. Because when foreign leaders realize that the way to win against the United States isn't by leverage or negotiation, but by stroking the ego of the president, we lose what made America powerful. We stop being respected, we start being played. Putin knows this game. He has been using ego politics for decades. One of his strengths is understanding personalities. So, seeing a US envoy explain to him exactly how to manipulate the US president, that's not just embarrassing, it's dangerous. And think about that Ukraine in all this. A country that's been invaded, fighting for its survival, relying on US as its strongest backer, and suddenly they are watching lead transcripts showing the US negotiating a peace plan that basically hands Russia everything it wants. Imagine being Ukrainian and reading that. Imagine being a European ally. This is how trust erodes. And the craziest part, diplomacy is supposed to be tough. It's supposed to be strategic. It's supposed to be built on the red lines, compromise, partnerships, deterrence. But the transcripts reads like a coaching session on how to emotionally babysit the president. It made me think, what about diplomacy used to be? What it should be. Diplomacy should be grounded in values, that is, democracy, human rights, sovereignty. It should reflect decades of alliances. It should withstand personalities. Instead, these tapes show diplomacy that bends around one's person desire to feel admired. And that's why this leak matters. It's not about the partition politics. It's not about whether you love or hate Trump. It's about what it reveals about the current state of American power. The world isn't stupid. Every country is watching these tapes. Russia, China, Europe, the Middle East, they have all seen this. And they are going to adjust how they treat the United States because of it. If flattery gets you more than diplomacy, you will get flattery. If manipulation gets you more than negotiation, you will get the manipulation. This is how empires weaken, not from the enemies, but from the way they start doing the business. Before I end, here is my personal take. I don't think the problem is that Trump wants the praise. Every president has an ego, every global leader does. The problem is when an entire foreign policy apparatus orbits around that ego, when billionaires with no diplomatic training access invoice, when negotiations that determine global security happen privately between the businessmen and autocrats. That's not America first, that's a security risk. So, guys, as more details come out, as more people inside the system speaks up, and as the world reacts, we need to be clear-eyed about what's at stake. Not just Ukraine, not just Russia, but the integrity of the American leadership. And that matters for all of us. So, guys, thank you for being here tonight. If you found this breakdown useful or eye opening, make sure to like the stream, drop your thoughts in the chat, and subscribe for more deep dive commentary. I will see you guys in the next one.